Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, I'm going to be your tech analyst, and we're going over a high-tech blueprint for the 2026 local AI revolution. For years, we've all just been tied down to the cloud, right? Paying these massive subscription fees, always kind of stressing about our data sitting on someone else's servers. But right now, that entire paradigm is flipping, because consumer hardware is finally enabling a 100% private local AI ecosystem. We're going to talk about how to build an enterprise-grade AI brain right there on your desk and walk through exactly how to orchestrate the whole thing.
So, let's dive right in and define what's actually driving this whole revolution. It isn't just about raw compute speed anymore, it's really all about data sovereignty. Think of this as your absolute digital fortress. Data sovereignty basically means you have complete, uncompromising control, and your digital data literally never leaves your physical hardware. This is a massive deal because it completely solves all those GDPR risks, HIPAA compliance headaches, and that terrifying thought of your proprietary company code secretly leaking out into some third-party cloud.
Here's our quick architectural schematic for today. We're starting with the privacy core, building up through the hardware foundation, doing a quick showdown between Ollama and LM Studio at the application layer, and then locking down our security before we get to the final 2026 verdict.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the privacy core in achieving 100% data sovereignty.
Imagine a massive data stream, actively crunching your highly sensitive customer records, internal financial models, or your proprietary code base. In the past, all of that got shipped straight over the internet to some massive server farm, and you just kind of had to cross your fingers and hope their security was as good as their marketing. Well, no more. That cloud connection is officially terminated. By running your AI locally, your sensitive enterprise information stays right there on your hardware. You're completely eliminating the risk of some third party hoarding your unfiltered data. It's literally just you, your machine, and your data.
Moving right along to Section 2, how Blackwell GPUs close the gap, forming our incredibly powerful hardware foundation.
Now, if you're tracking AI performance, you know the holy grail metric is time to first token. Basically, how fast does the AI start typing back to you after you hit enter? Well, the flagship RTX 5090 is now achieving a sub-100 millisecond response time for raw inference. That's literally the blink of an eye. And even for complex stuff like production RAG workloads, where the AI is searching through thousands of your personal documents, it still hits an insanely fast 450 milliseconds. It's crushing the older RTX 4090 by a massive 33%, delivering this snappy, near-instant latency that actually rivals multi-million-dollar cloud setups.
But what really gets me excited here is the sheer cost efficiency. Running local inference on a more budget-friendly consumer card like the RTX 5060 Ti costs just a fraction of a cent per million tokens in electricity. Research actually shows this setup can be up to 200 times cheaper than using budget cloud APIs. Just let that sink in for a second. If you've got a moderate volume setup, it doesn't just save you a few bucks over time, it can literally pay for its own hardware in under 4 months. After that, your AI processing is basically free.
So how is this kind of enterprise-level power even possible from a box sitting quietly under your desk? It's really driven by the RTX 5090's massive 1.79 terabytes per second memory bandwidth. And when you combine that hardware brute force with new NVFB4 quantization formats, which is essentially this genius mathematical compression trick that shrinks a model's memory footprint by 50% with basically zero quality loss, it's a game changer. Because of that efficiency leap, you can now run highly advanced, modern open weights models like Llama 3 or Qwen 3 entirely locally.
Okay, let's jump up the stack to Section 3, Ollama versus LM Studio at the application layer.
So you've got the hardware, but what about the software actually orchestrating these local AI brains? Right now, two distinct heavyweights are dominating the space. On one hand, you have the developer-focused Llama, which operates quietly in the background like a utility service. And on the other, you've got the highly visual, super interactive LM Studio. Since picking the right software totally dictates how you'll interact with your AI every day, let's break down exactly who should be using which tool.
Let's start with Ollama. This is absolutely the undisputed choice for developers. It's totally free, open source, and built with a lightweight command-line-first architecture, so it has an incredibly low system footprint. It's not wasting your system resources rendering some flashy interface. Plus, it lets you craft custom model files. Imagine easily giving your AI a permanent Super Mario personality, or locking it down to strictly act as a senior code reviewer. Crucially, it exposes a local HTTP API. That means you can effortlessly plug its intelligence straight into your Python scripts, trigger smart home automations, or weave it into complex multi-model pipelines behind the scenes.
Conversely, LM Studio is an absolute visual powerhouse. It gives you this stunning, beginner-friendly graphical interface that completely removes any intimidation factor. Searching, downloading, and chatting with models is just incredibly easy. If you want to test a model's vision capabilities, you literally just drag and drop an image right into the chat window. But, that convenience definitely comes at a cost. It has a much heavier resource footprint, and because it's built so heavily around its UI, it's definitely less flexible if you're a developer trying to build out automated headless backend production pipelines.
Let's pivot to a really crucial topic. Section 4. Securing the local perimeter and protecting port 11434.
I have to ask you a kind of terrifying question. Is your local AI actually secure? Or is your API secretly exposed to the entire internet right now? A lot of people install these tools with a dangerous false sense of security. They just assume that because it's local, it's completely impenetrable, and that their basic home router is keeping them perfectly safe.
And guys, this isn't just theoretical. We've literally seen community deployment reports where users woke up to find their local servers totally hijacked by strangers. People were just siphoning their free computing power. Because these AI servers can sometimes default to binding to any available network interface, something as simple as a router misconfiguration, a lingering port forward, or a UPnP error can accidentally expose your powerful, uncensored AI model to anyone running a network scanner.
So, to lock down your system and prevent data leakage, you have to follow these exact steps. Step 1. Bind Llama strictly to local hosts so it never even tries to touch the public web or run it through a secure mesh VPN like Tailscale. Step 2. Grab a firewall like UFW and aggressively block all incoming traffic to port 11434. And step 3, if you absolutely must access your AI remotely, you have to implement a reverse proxy that requires strict JWT token authentication. It's basically a cryptographic VIP pass. Just whatever you do, never leave your API endpoints unprotected.
All right, let's bring it all together. Section 5, the 2026 verdict and our final system architecture.
So here is our definitive verdict on how to structure this blueprint. Use LM Studio as your interactive sandbox. It is genuinely excellent for frictionless model discovery and testing before you fully commit. But when you are actually ready to build and integrate, Ollama is overall better for creating secure, long-term custom applications and scaling your daily automations. If you combine that lightweight Ollama architecture with the raw processing power of a Blackwell RTX 50 series card, you get true, uncompromising enterprise-grade AI power.
So, there you have it. You now possess the complete blueprint for the local AI revolution. You know exactly how the hardware has closed the gap, you know the smart software choices to make, and you have the absolute critical security steps to keep your data truly sovereign. The whole paradigm has shifted. The only question left is, with literal enterprise performance sitting right there on your desk, are you ready to finally unplug from the cloud?